Hi, everyone. This is Jen from Jen Metamorphosis Mentoring. And today I have a beautiful, cute, loving guest with me. Her name is Suzanne Mikula. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, Jen. Hi, everyone. So good to be here.
Yeah, okay. So Suzanne, she is a intuitive psychic medium. She's also a yoga teacher, and she really has a lot of heart for helping, I don't know, which is women or probably also men, anyone who's in this deep inner healing journey. And I would love
Yes.
you to share more of you today in this session, because authenticity project is something that we are so much, like into, because what is authenticity and what does it have to do with, let's say, love and light? You know how, like, namaste, yeah, we wish each other well and everything, but how do we
Yes.
tune into that loving energy? And I know you for a while, and you always give me that beautiful impression of truth and such warmth, that love energy. So I really want to dig in deeper with you today.
Okay. Oh, I'm so looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too, me too. So the first thing I feel like I would love for you to share is, as you know, talking about authenticity. I mean, being authentic in this day of age is not like, easy, literally. It's like you have
Yes.
to see through a lot of the our own limiting beliefs, and as well as, the facade of the outer world. And that demands a lot of, as you know, like inner work. And inner work is not fun sometimes. There's a lot of pivotal moments. I mean, for
Yes.
me personally, I've gone through a
Yes.
lot of dark night of the souls. So I would love,
Yes.
love for you to share um, your pivotal moments, like your pivotal point that makes you feel like, wait, where I am right now, I'm actually safe. Because in
Mm.
those dark moments, we don't feel safe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm. Yes. I've had so many of those pivotal moments. And like you, I've also been through many dark nights of the soul.
Mm.
And one thing that came to my mind as you were speaking about those pivotal moments is that I feel like that's ongoing. I continue to have pivotal moments. And I think that's what like makes us authentic, authentic human beings, is just saying like every day is brand new and every day I'm rediscovering who I am.
Mm.
Every day I'm rediscovering parts of myself that I'm still yet to grow, to learn and to love and accept and honor and heal. And being able to just be honest about that as we step forward to share the gifts that we've accumulated from our journey, that came before where we stand today. And
Yeah,
yes.
definitely. So for example, like sometimes in those moments, like again, my personal story is about like dealing with the family trauma, dealing with
Yes.
the relationship breakdowns, I mean, those are like really blow my heart open in a way. It was really painful. And
Mhm.
I see myself, the past self, as kind of like identifying with those crumblings, and I wasn't able to
Mhm.
get out of it. Because
Yes.
I remember there was one time it was so harsh that I have to take myself out for a walk. As I was walking out, and I saw this butterfly, right? And butterfly is my symbol, it's about metamorphosis. And
Yes.
I saw her getting caught up in a web, trying to fly
Mm.
out, but couldn't. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly the reality, how I was experiencing inside, and it
Yes.
taught me like so much, like, oh my God, where I am
Yes.
right now is like that butterfly, feeling so caught up in that web and feeling
Yes.
extremely powerless. Yeah.
Hmm.
I wanted to share also like a part of you, how not to identify yourself with those crumblings.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Presence. Presence is love.
Yeah.
And when we're in those moments of feeling surrounded by old structures and life, patterns and relationships falling apart,
Mm,
um, we can feel caught up in them. But if we're able to connect to the part of ourselves that is present there and can observe the landscape and observe how we're feeling in it, observe what feels painful to us, what feels good to us, just that awareness, that consciousness connecting to, oh, this is me. I'm the observer. I'm present here. I'm watching and I'm here. And um, I believe that love is presence. And if you can be present with yourself,
mm,
then that's a starting point to being able to unravel the web that's wrapped around you. If you're not aware of yourself, if you're not present and
mm.
aware of your own self within that web, then it's difficult because you feel like you are the web. You are the, you are the crumblings. But once you begin to become aware of yourself, and it's such a self-loving practice to just be
It-
aware of you. Yeah. And
uh,
to feel your own separateness from the landscape around you, your own separateness from other people. Because when you're able to feel that, then you can understand your relationship better with the structures around you, with the people around you. And as you grow to love your individuality and just who you are, where you are, and to tend to your own needs on your journey, it it makes you stronger, it makes you healthier and more whole. And then you're able um, to express that towards other people, to express that to the web, and to inspire their healing, their growth, their sense of falling into their individuality, their own separateness. And from there, we can experience greater unity, which is what love is. Love is, but it starts with being able to feel yourself apart from the web, apart from the structures, from all of that, and coming home to yourself. And when
mm.
you come home to yourself, then you can help others come home to themselves, and then you can experience greater unity together. So it's not about it's not selfish. It's so we can see that loving oneself is not selfish, because when you love yourself and you really fall into your own individuality, it allows you to really experience unity with others.
That's so beautiful. And now I'm getting more curious about your journey then. Suzanne, I would love for you to share a little bit more about what is that time, pick something that's just like, out of blue right now, but then it gives you an intuitive, like, something you want to tap in that you would love to share. There's some vulnerability probably that when you share, people are allowed to tap into their vulnerability as well. So what is that point in your life where you feel like you're going through the trenches? And how do
Mm,
you lead you back to the light?
right. I had several of those in the past, few years.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember the first one that was very, very intense. It was, I really was allowed to fully break down, and I don't think I'd ever experienced that in my life. And it was around a relationship rejection and abandonment in the relationship. But ultimately it was born out of my own growth. I had been on a healing journey for some time. I had been starting to pull myself away
Right.
from the web around me to discover who I was, what was in my heart, and to kind of understand those inklings. Sometimes you feel uncomfortable, you feel like you don't quite fit in, or there's something is amiss in your
Mm.
body, and it can show up as disease. It can show up as mental, emotional challenges. It can show up as discord in relationships with family or friends, in the workplace. And so I
Yeah.
had kind of all of those happening at the same time, just the perfect constellation. And I had been on a journey for a while, and I had expressed that I wanted to heal, I wanted to grow, and I was doing things that were helping set me up for that kind of disintegration and rebuilding, you know? So I had been on a healing journey, and all those good things that I had been doing, taking care of my body, I was using essential oils, which really raise your vibration, and that was happening for me. And so I was noticing that my consciousness was shifting and my awareness of myself was growing. And I was starting to feel, oh, I feel like I'm a part and that I can choose a way to go in my life. And it doesn't always have to be what other people say or expect of me or what society expects of me. And that was brand new to me. And so a relationship fell apart that was really such an integral part of my former self. And that was no longer resonant with where I was shifting in my self-awareness and growth. And it brought up so much pain for me.
Yeah.
And but fortunately, because I had been, taking care of myself, and I had been receiving support from others, holistic healers, and it was really painful. But I'm grateful that I was able to just be in that,
Mm,
um, and not trying to change it, not trying to rush for a solution, but just to let it run its course like a fever. It's like you get a fever, sometimes you let the fever run its course. And it can feel scary, and it was very painful. But I'm grateful that I was able to let it run its course and just be with that, be with the discomfort, be with the disintegration, the falling apart. And those first few dark nights of the soul, I've had a few after that. Each one I feel is a little less frightful, because we know that it's part of the journey and we're just walking through it. And eventually we'll learn the lessons and we'll come out to the other side. We'll
mm,
come out of the cocoon. It's just that that time the butterfly is still trying to push its way out. um, and so that's been, several times I've been through that experience. And with time, I notice my trust and my faith growing.
mm,
And I feel that presence is love. And from presence, we can have faith and trust, because we're always aware and our awareness never goes away. And so it's constant, and we can trust that. It's hard to trust for those of us who've been through trauma, in our life. It's hard to trust people, life and circumstances that are always changing. Sometimes we feel that it's even hard to trust our own selves, but if we come back to that awareness, to that presence, we know we're present and we're aware constantly, and our awareness can never go away. No one can change that. No one can take that away from us. And so we can trust that as long as we are communicating and connecting to our own self, with our own awareness and being present, that we will find a way, that we will move through it. And that life, which is loving, and I know it's a journey, I'm still learning that. I'm still learning that life is loving and good. And I know a lot of people are, because the vibration on the planet at this time, as you know, is not always. It's more in fear and lack, and so learning to trust, but comes back to that presence, our awareness, and knowing that we can trust our awareness, and that life, which is loving and good, is our partner. We're in partnership with that life that is always, it's a circle. It never ends. It can never be destroyed. The energy and cycle of life. Yes.
I have to say, like, while I'm listening, it's like transmissions. So stuff that
You're
comes down
receiving.
here and there. I'm receiving. So interesting. So you said, okay, one thing I can't agree more is that, we tend to want to escape from the discomfort. Like, being here,
Yes.
I don't want to feel this way. I want to get out of here, right? Getting me out of
Yes.
the freaking cocoon, right? But at
Yes.
the same time, it's like the fever, if we don't feel it, let it run through, we just being taken to another, like, deeper, darker place that we feel like we completely lose ourselves and can't have any connection with our own power. And I feel that's like, feeling our feelings is the most Well, it's easy to say, but it is the most compassionate way that we can give to ourselves.
Yes.
That's number one. And, talking about love, LOVE, right? And I think
Yes.
love, the E is like stands for energy, right? And how can we not be afraid of love? We want love. And I mean, no one wants to be like rejected, feeling abandoned,
Yes.
because it'll like trigger that part of us that feels so vulnerable that we are not being loved. But yet, it's so ironic because sometimes those healing opportunities that you feel so not loved, yet is the
Yes.
way to lead you back to love, essentially.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's
Yes.
ironic sometimes. And then so instead of pushing away those feelings, because those feelings are difficult, those feelings are not easy to be felt, or just too
Yes.
painful to be felt, if we allow it in, it becomes the source of love. I mean, our human self, like,
Yes.
no, I don't want to feel that. Right?
Yes.
But when we start like softening ourselves up and like, I'm gonna surrender in this moment, is not comfortable, right? And
Yes.
that somehow transmuted to a different energy, like you said, a higher vibration that we can identify ourselves with rather than the crumbling.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah. Transmission.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, every single dark night that I've been through has been
Mm.
brought on by a contrast of lack of love, not feeling love or seeing love in the outer world, but then that causing me to look inward and ask myself, where is this being reflected from? Because we live in a reflective universe, and it's taken me many years to learn that, and I'm still learning it.
Me too.
But
Yeah.
looking back at my journey now, I can see and understand, and I understood in the moment. And I'm grateful that I did. Every time I would feel a lack of love or a pain or rejection in the world, that I would look into me and say, well, what is this? This I understood that there was a pain inside of me, there was a lack of love inside of me that needed to take physical form and stand before me so that I would be able to face it and look at it. And because sometimes when we tuck things away inside of us, it's easy to not look at them and to not be aware of them. But but we long so much to be whole. We want to be so whole with all parts of ourselves that we will let that express itself in the physical world so that we can then heal those parts of ourselves, and then from then that greater love that I experienced deep within myself, um, I could express that into the world. So it's
I
a
love
circle, a wave.
Literally, it's like, two sides of the same coin. I can't trust. I don't feel I can trust because I'm being hurt so much. I'm so painful, right? To
Yes.
what if I'm able to allow that trust to come in? And trust,
Yes.
sometimes trusting ourselves could sound like very like, oh,
Yes.
you sure you can trust yourself, right? But like,
Yes.
sometimes I feel like when I can't trust myself, I have to open myself up and to let the divine communication come through and say,
Yes.
show me how to trust. Show me how to trust.
Yes.
And I want to talk to
Yes.
you more about, because I know you're an intuitive psychic medium, and how did you learn to embrace this gift? Because this gift, it's a spiritual gift and it's so unknown and unseen, right? So
Yes.
the reason why I'm also curious about it is because I am embracing my spiritual gifts as well. And it's like,
Yes.
talking and, explaining myself to other people about what spiritual gifts are. It's kind of like, I have to use a different language,
Yes.
I want to know your experience. Like, what's your journey of embracing your gifts of being a psychic medium?
Mm.
Yeah.
It's been very, very gradual and very slow because, like you said, there's still parts of us that
Yes.
are
Yes.
healing and still um, feeling safe about sharing who we are with the world, and so I embrace the fact that it's taken me years. It took me I spent years just using my gifts for my own healing, and not even thinking that I could work with others
Yeah.
using those gifts. And then to hearing a message that actually, yes, you can work with these gifts with other people.
Mm.
It's not just for you. And I was, of course, overjoyed because, when you walk a certain difficult path, you always want to help others. You want to alleviate some of the suffering that others might go through, or just be a balm. And I've always wanted to serve and support others, and so I was really happy to hear that. And then from then on, I took time. I would work with people that were close to me, that I felt like I trusted, that I could share my gifts with them. And I would, so friends to start with, um, and still very gradual. I'm still growing into doing that,
This is a
and I'm
tender
still,
part. It's a tender part of ourselves. It's part of ourselves.
yes,
Yeah, it's like, we don't just go out to the world and say, hey, these are the things I know how to do, but it's really tender.
yes,
So I can totally
yes.
resonate. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm still like even learning to trust it, and I sometimes I laugh at myself and I say, Suzanne, like you still are questioning, and I can feel the divine also just kind of like lovingly shaking his and her head and just saying, oh, Suzanne, like you can trust now, like everything that you see and you're being given and shared is pure, and there's always confirmation for that, which is a gift for me because I need that. So a message to people who are still discovering your gifts, and you're not, you're a little shy or you don't trust it yet, it's okay. Just keep sharing in the ways that you feel safe to, and just trust that confirmation will come to support you,
Because we
and
tend,
guide you.
totally, because we tend to argue with our own potential.
Yes,
The
yes,
scariest part to own, let's say, okay, own your power, right? Like how? Right? And then once it's revealed by itself, you're like, can I handle that? Can people be, like misunderstand me? I mean, all those fears
yes,
can come. And so in order
yes,
for us to really embrace what we are here to do, sometimes it
yes,
challenges us to see through those illusions of fears, the projections of other people, because they don't know what you're talking about sometimes, it's dealing
right,
with the unknown, the unseen in the greater intelligence,
yes,
right?
yes,
I would love,
yes,
something just came through right now, is that I know you've shared with me some of your synchronicity story last time.
yes, yes,
You might share that, because I really want people to also lean into the unexpected surprises in their lives
yes.
and know that they're always being supported and held by the unseen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to do that. I would so love to. I spent so much of my life feeling apart, away, and not feeling support or comfort or love. And I really long to not only feel that more and more myself, but for others to feel that too. Um, I feel like the vibration of the world tends to um, draw us away from that feeling. Like we feel, people feel disconnected from their ancestors or from nature. As we live urban lives and work on technology, um, we're we're drawn apart from the natural forces of life that help us feel that loving support, like nature, tribes, our villages, loving elders. And um, and so it's been a journey for me, learning to, as I've been on my healing journey, and a part of that has been learning and discovering that I am loved by the divine, and that the divine is here, and that this divine creation is good and loving. Um, and and so recently, some months ago, I had been on a rigorous journey, envisioning my first retreat, and it was really challenging, because so much of our healing is woven into the work that we do.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, and trusting ourselves, trusting what we want to bring to the world, trusting that that good will be reflected back to us, from our
Mhm.
good effort. So much was, it was very rigorous for me. and it brought up so much in me that still was looking to be healed. And one of those things was, am I loved? And as I was driving my sons to get some lunch to eat after school, I just felt deep inside of me. I felt that place inside of me that was not feeling love. It was like a hollow, like it felt hollow and empty. It was empty of the fullness of love, of knowing that I'm loved. And I just prayed in that moment. I said, I would love to know how loved I am. I would love to feel that, because I understand, we intellectually understand,
Yes.
concepts and wisdom, but sometimes we don't feel it. And so I really would prayed heartfeltly that I wanted to feel that I'm loved, and I wanted to just know it more and more and more, and that I longed so much for it. I was so hungry for that, and I was crying. And so I got to I took my sons to lunch, and I go out to the checkout counter, and as I was checking out, somebody tapped me on the shoulder and slid an envelope. I brought it because I know we had talked about this
Yeah.
earlier, and I wanted to
Oh my
share it.
God.
So this is the envelope here. So someone tapped me on the shoulder and slid an envelope onto the checkout counter, and said, "This is for you," over my shoulder, and then walked away. And I was confused because I didn't know if it was for the cashier or for me.
Right.
And
Right.
so I turned around to look, and all I saw was just somebody with a cloak. I couldn't see if it was a woman or a man. They had just turned really quickly and walked out the door. And so I checked out, I took it, and I sat down. And when I opened it, it was a card, and it had a beautiful painting on it that,
It's so
I stared at it for a while because it had all the symbols
yes.
of me. I'm also a butterfly, as you are. That's my
Yeah.
symbol. I travel as a butterfly in
Mhm.
other realms.
Yeah.
And the crescent moon is my symbol as well, because I have been through a moon goddess initiation in another realm. And water and the mountains with stars in the sky are very special to me because they represent
Beautiful.
my mother's womb, the divine mother, and
Yeah.
her womb waters, that I'm always in her womb waters. And of course the triangle, there's a little triangle there. Everything was just, it was almost like it had been painted for me. And so I stared at it for a while, and I was struck with wonder. And
Mm.
then I turned the card, and the message, shall I read the message?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Love
So the
here.
message says, "This card is crafted with love, made especially for you, a guided act of kindness, an example of what is true. We are all connected. What we give, we shall receive. The joy I share with you is the joy I share with me. This gift is infused with light to brighten any day. Keep it as long as you like, or send it on its way. May we remind each other who we are, a family that is one. Acts of love will ripple out, a sky brightened by the sun. You are worthy, deserving, and complete. This message is a confirming sign. Nothing to do, just simply be. Allow your beautiful heart to shine. You are loved. So, so loved." In bold letters at the bottom, you are loved.
Wow. This is no Harry Potter series here. Okay. Yeah.
No.
And you were just crying, in the car, feeling
Yes.
loved. But here it is, Divine's like, listen well, sister.
Yes. And so magical, so wondrous, so divine. We cannot make stuff up like this. Um we can't conjure it up. We can't create it. It's a response. It's an answer. And so I think having presence and awareness of oneself is the most powerful thing you can do on your healing journey, because when you're present and aware of yourself, and you're seeing where you are, and you're understanding what you need, what you love and what you don't love, because being in a crumbling mess is the best place to discover what you don't want and what you do want. And when you're aware of that, then you can ask, then you can express what it is that you would love, who you would love to be, and what you would love to experience in the world. And so in that moment in the car, I was aware of myself. I was having a moment of deep presence with myself and feeling that emptiness, feeling that lack of love. And from that place I cried out, I would love to feel loved. I would love to feel that. And the answer came
That's amazing.
instantly. And so I believe the more intently and the more powerfully we can surrender to in presence with ourselves and express what it is that we would love, or just what we're feeling, that an answer and comes from that, because it's energy, right? And if you it's like when you move energy one way, then it can move back to you. And so even as painful and as intense as going through like dark nights of the soul could be, or me experiencing such a great emptiness in my heart, it was like that space that's created from all of that, it's the exact same measure of goodness and love can flow into that. And so it's like the bigger the bigger the breakdown, the bigger the
I
breakthrough,
love
you
that.
know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The bigger the breakdown, the bigger the breakthrough.
Yeah.
Quote by Suzanne Mikula. Seriously, it's good. And you know what? But seriously, I feel like the reason why I feel so humbled by this journey is that we are, souls and spirits in this human body, and we're experiencing so much tug of wars in between years, right? Right here,
Yes.
in between years. And we are
Mhm.
dealing with daily amnesia almost. Like, I don't remember that I'm made of love. Really?
Yes.
Am I loved? How come I feel the opposite? It's like this this
Yes.
polarity of not feeling love, and yet, you are willing to be in the presence and be still. We really allow the truth to come to us. But if we're
Yes.
like kind of traveling around, to the past or future, not being here, then we are searching for those wounded experience to prove that we are crumbled, you know?
Mhm. Yes.
It's so
Yes.
humbling. It's so humbling.
Yes. It is so humbling, and I every single day it's almost like a relearning, like a relearning.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're in the world, and the world has an influence on us. But more and more,
Mm.
a prayer that has come to me, and that I'm really like working on embracing, and that I would love to share with others, is that we understand that we're in the world and there's certain energies and influences that can, um, maybe contribute to us forgetting that we're loved, forgetting that we're supported, or forgetting just being on the vibration of growth and healing, and being present rather than looking, to the past or the future and not being present in love. Um,
Mm.
as much as there are those influences in the world, there are the opposing as well, because, light is always existing with dark. And so, a prayer that I would love to share with others is that you pray and say, um, please tap me in
Mm.
to love, tap me into the tap me into those who are on the energetic frequency of love, those who are ascending, those who are healing, those who are moving and shifting and evolving. Tap me into those energy frequencies, because maybe sometimes I'm tapped into the opposing energies and I don't even know it. And I know this personally, and I think you can understand this, because we are intuitive and we're empathic and we're sensitive, and most people who have been through trauma are that way, is that we tend to pick up, the
Yeah.
energies all around us. And, up until now, I didn't realize that I really hadn't set a clear understanding or intent or boundary per se what kind of energy I would like to pick up on, what do I want to tune into? Because we're radios, right? And our antennas are all
Yes.
out. And so we're like, okay, I want this one down. I only want these two antennas. I would like to tune in to love. I would like to tune into to joy, to peace, to vibrancy. That's what I would like to tune into in this moment because it's out there.
So
Those,
secure.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that tuning reminder.
Yes.
Tuning into the love, not fear. But
Yes.
it's like, wow, because we're visual animals, and while you're speaking, I'm like, oh my God, this lovely woman like sitting in front of me, I'm like so visually like looking at you, right?
Yes.
And well, this is like humanity, because me and you, there are only two people here, like human beings, right? But
Yes.
this is humanity, because I see the differences we are as what I'm talking about is like ethnic background, right?
Yes.
I'm from Taiwan, you're from Cameroon originally, right? And then yes, we have so much in similarity as well. So celebrating the differences of how we are being made up in the human form. At the same time, we are sharing our journey. You're walking yours, I'm walking mine, and we all need those common elements of courage, faith, trust. They're all shared similarly, right?
Yes.
Because I told you, like right before this video, I mean, I was like kind of like checking out what Cameroon dance is, from traditional dance with Cameroon in Africa. I was like, wow, this is amazing, fascinating. And we're talking about ancestors, because I think you just mentioned it earlier, like how does it really feel rooted in the family tree, even if you are away from it, right? Like I'm away from Taiwan, you're away from Cameroon. And yet the similarity I see here is no matter how culturally different we are, but yet we are all the sum up of our ancestors. Without our ancestors, we wouldn't be here talking.
Yes. Yes.
It gives me goosebumps a little bit, like, oh my God, yeah, without our ancestors, without even knowing their names, there's so many of them, we wouldn't be talking and sharing, and exchanging the love.
Yes.
And so the more we heal ourselves, the more we heal our ancestors from the wounding, right? From the wounding.
Yes.
And when our ancestors are more healed, the humanity is much more healed for the next generations and onwards, right?
Yes. I know. Yeah. And something that came to me that I heard some time ago is that one person like on the frequency of love is as powerful as, I don't know if it's thousands of people on fear, on the vibration of fear.
Wow.
Yeah. And so and that just helps everybody so much more, because I think sometimes we think, oh, I need to watch, the pain or the fear or the negativity. I need to tune into that so I can help, so I can be of service. And it is a noble intent, but if you are in that energetic frequency, it's difficult for you to help those who are already in it. And so being in the energy of love, and this like also applies to our ancestry. A lot of times it's so easy to like connect to the pain of our ancestors rather than the joy, and connecting to their joy and their peace and their rich, abundant culture and heritage is very healing. And so I feel like that's a beautiful way to experience more love in that work, in ancestral healing work, and to restore them, because it sets them free as well. To kind of highlight that and to celebrate it, and to keep that heritage, the beautiful heritage going in your spirit. It helps them as well.
That is beautiful. And also because not only from the pain, because we know it's hard for them to, go through or experience exactly the way we are right now. We're in complete different era. So
Yes.
pain, their treacherous, experiences is something that's not the same as what we are going through right now. But also
Yes.
like what we inherited from them is their courage, their trust, right? Because
Yes.
even though it was hard for them, they still pull it through
Yes.
in order to have us, the upbringing,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. And their love. Yes. And a wonderful way to feel connected to your ancestors is your self-love journey. being coming back to yourself, home to yourself, because you are what links you to your ancestors. And so the more connected you are to yourself, the more that you love yourself, understand yourself, the closer you can feel, you can refine your connection to them. And so, yeah, it's a message that that has came to me a couple years ago when I was in Sedona, and I had such a deep longing to be of service, to serve the native people of Sedona, and I'm working on bringing that to reality this year with in the fall. I'm working on my healing service retreat in Sedona. But 2 years ago, I had a beautiful vision with, father and mother of Sedona and native elder. And the message that they gave to me was to take care of myself, to be well. And they said, if our sister is not well, then we cannot be well. And it was such a powerful message to me, because a lot of my life, I've always wanted to serve others and to be the one that brought others peace, love, joy, well-being. I sacrificed myself so much for others, and even as I went through my healing journey, that old pattern would come up. I'd be healing myself, and then I want to help other people heal. I want to, and I want to put myself. I want to put other people first and other people's healing first. And so that old story would come and just now be a part of my new identity, as a healer. No, let me heal other people first. And their message to me was, no, like, we want you to be well. It was almost as though they didn't care or worry so much about their hardship, the pain of their past, the injustices. They wanted me to be well. And that was so humbling, that and so illuminating, because I think so much in the world we hear about putting other people first, and going after that. But actually the ancestors, like, they want the opposite. They want us to be healthy first, because they know that we're part of the web and we're all one family. Like it says here, it says, let's see, we are all connected. What we give, we shall receive. The joy I share with you is the joy I share with me. So if I'm not healthy and well, then my brothers and sisters, whether ancestors, present or future, they can't be healthy. They can't be well, because we're all at one family. We're knit together. And so their message to me was, please, like, be well. We really want you to be well and healthy. Take care of you before you worry about about us.
Thank you so much for sharing this, because I think this is really potent, because all of us, I mean, there's so many of us, we are like burning out, burning ourselves out, because we think it's important to prioritize other people's need before ours. I mean,
Yes.
when you take care of other people, then me comes later, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
that point of, if I'm completely depleted and serving from that empty jar, what does it serve? Who's going to benefit out of it? No, right? So it might sound selfish. I mean, from the conventional society looking at it as like, oh yeah, you're too selfish to put yourself first. But no, that's the essential, because without we taking care of ourselves, without us feeling more into our body, into our heart, right? Feeling okay.
Yes.
Anything else is just only illusional.
Yes.
Right? Oh,
Yes.
this is such an important reminder. So thank you so much for sharing that. Because I do
Yes.
the same. I do the same. I tend to like, give my attention to others. And when I have something left, okay, what do I do for myself? That's like a tendency. But
Yes.
I think this is a new way of living now. And everything
Yes.
starts of giving ourselves permission of not feeling guilty,
Yes.
not feeling guilty of, put ourselves first.
Yes. And not believing the story that we're selfish for doing
Right.
that,
And
right?
in
Because,
this way,
you know,
everyone here is breaking the pattern of the ancestral line.
yes.
Right? Like you have
Yes.
to sacrifice in order to feel actually safe because you're being validated or you are valued.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I think our ancestors are like
Mm.
ready for us to do that. And they're helping us do that for sure. They want us to
Good.
be free.
So,
Yeah. And also, yeah, just remembering that it's not selfish. And
mhm,
um because ultimately, like, we all want good for each other. We want good for each other. And so we can I remind myself of that, and I say, well, my vision to serve other people, um there's no question about that. Like, yes, I want to serve others. And or a mother, yes, she wants to take care of her children. A teacher wants to teach their children well. And so our intentions are good. And so we can trust ourselves and trust that message that it's important for us to be well and be healthy first, because we do mean to do good in the world.
yeah,
And our goodness is needed in the world. And so we must be well. We
yeah,
must take good
and
care.
totally. And one thing that came through right now is that by us feeling okay, by us taking good care of ourselves, boundaries is needed sometimes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
other people who are used to you lacking of boundaries and keep on giving and giving and giving, and they will actually feel offended by you setting up boundaries because now you
Yes.
put yourself first. But yet
Mhm.
it's not personal, right?
Right. Right.
What's your
Yes.
what's your take on that one?
Oh,
Boundary part.
yes. I yes. I think people get offended. Actually, I'm writing a post about this. I just wrote this down the other day. Yeah, actually, I used this words. I said people get offended
Mm,
um, when you ask for what you deserve, or when you ask for what you would love,
yeah.
or express your needs. People get offended because they have not given that to themselves. And because they don't have that, and they don't feel that it's okay for them to have that, then they don't understand why you think you should have that.
Exactly. And we learn
Yes.
to outsource externally from each other rather than feel ourselves in. So when we outsource from each other and we both part are so depleted, yet we're so
Yes.
like feeling guilty for saying no.
Yes.
You need to take care of
Yes.
me, but I love you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And really, it's an act of love for ourselves and for them too, for us to say no and to just like um give ourselves what we need,
Mm,
because it allows them to tune into the parts of themselves
that's
that are not feeling love, that are not feeling, that are telling themselves that they don't deserve that too. So you're giving them an opportunity to dial in and to go deeper into themselves and to discover greater love within themselves, for their own selves. But if we don't do that, then we're not helping them. We're continuing to we're preventing them from having a self-awareness, a deeper
yeah.
self-awareness.
Right. So kind of, light up the unconscious in other people in a way,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
And it's not because we want to cause them discomfort, but because we're tending to our own, that naturally will allow them to discover what is not quite, what is the word? Harmonious within themselves. Yeah. Yes.
And that is a form of love.
Yes,
right?
it is.
It's like
Yes, it
that,
is.
Suzanne, I'm so happy to have this conversation with you because it all comes back. We've covered a lot, to be honest. I think we've talked so much about like
Yes.
everything that has to do with ancestral lineage healing, that has to do with embracing our gift, and also even boundaries, right? And
Yes.
how everything is so linked to self-love at the same time. Yes, it will trigger other people who are not yet, consciously aware that this what is exactly what they need. But
Yes.
it brings healing opportunity for them to tap into their own love or self-love.
Yes, absolutely. And something that really has helped me in times when it's felt difficult
Mm,
um, to connect to love, whether it's within myself or for other people who maybe because of their wounding or my wounding, we inadvertently injure each other.
yeah.
It's like we sometimes we don't even intend it, but there's a wound inside of me I'm not even aware of, and somebody just walks by and they don't mean to touch me, but they brush against me. And like an animal when they're wounded, they protect their wounds, they growl, and they're just trying to protect their wound. And so it's like reminding myself to be gentle with myself and say, hey, like this is just a part of me that's wounded, and I'm just guarding it, and it will heal with time. This is a person that really they didn't mean to. Maybe they did, but if they did, it's probably due to their own wounding, their own hurt inside of them that causes them to be unskillful in the way that maybe I'm unskillful when somebody accidentally touches my wound. But also, like, just remembering, feeling, finding a way to connect to the infinite source, to infinite love.
Mm,
Because I think of the world that we live in, and its frequency of lack and limit has been mixed in with our sense of love. And so we almost have this feeling of like love is a limited supply of love.
yeah.
And so I need to like guard some of this love because I don't want to give too much of it out because there's not a lot of it, or I'm feeling a limited supply of it. But when I'm able to connect to divine love, which is infinite and there's no end to it, it's unconditional. It's just, there's no short supply of love. There's no requirements for it. There's nothing. It just simply is. I'm just simply loved, and love is just simply infinitely flowing toward me and for me. When I'm able to connect to that infinite supply of love, then it helps me relax a little bit more and just feel like, oh, okay, there's so much love for me, and therefore I can release some of that. I can let that flow out into the world and toward other people because there's an unlimited supply. And if they don't give that back to me, oh, that's okay. There's an unlimited supply pouring in for me. So I'm not giving it because I want something back or because I expect something from someone. I don't, because I know we're all just growing and healing, and some of us are unskillful still in our ways with each other. But because I'm feeling I'm connected to this source of infinite love, it frees me to love myself as I am and to allow that love and grace to flow out into the world and to others.
Okay, you don't know how grateful I am for you to point all these out. Number one, what I learned from you is, again, the reminder of, when we're pouring compassion to ourselves, when we're feeling that tender part is being triggered, right? And being
Yes.
so gentle and compassionate with ourselves. And through that self-compassion, then we get
Yes.
to really give the same level of compassion to other people. Because,
Yes.
I guess, like, this mainstream society is always teaching us about, yeah, you need to be compassionate with other people. But they tend to, kind of like give space for us to tap into our own self-compassion,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
again, give first, gift, right? Give compassion to others, give kindness to others. Yeah, I mean, those
Yes.
are true, but in order for us to genuinely give that amount of quality compassion, we need to tap into that part of ourselves first, right? That's number
Yes.
one, right? And then one that you
Yes.
said, oh my God, you have so much things going on, like transmissions.
Yes.
And it's so juicy when you talk about how, everything here is a healing balm for us, right? Healing opportunity.
Yes.
And letting others to feel however they feel, and not taking not to say I'm not taking responsibility for triggering them, but
Yes.
let them take their own responsibility. And again, it's another form of love. Without us trying
Yes.
to save them, trying to heal them, like you just said earlier, like
Right.
we trust them. They have the capacity to take full responsibility and heal themselves and feel happier, feel more loved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So good.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, Suzanne, you are such a gift, such a gift.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have, I love our conversations, and so wonderful to connect with you and talk about love. And yeah, we should do this again soon.
I know, you're that embodiment of element of love. Because we all wonder like what exactly love is, or the presence of love feels like, and I thought you are perfect. You're just perfect for that.
Oh, thank you so much.
I know you just had your retreat. You talked about in Oaxaca, in Mexico, and what are your plans for the upcoming month for you?
Oh, well, I'm working on my second retreat, which is going to be in October in Sedona.
Yeah.
And really my vision for this retreat, the seeds were planted, years ago when I visited Sedona, and my vision is for it to be a sacred healing space for each person who comes, and to help connect them back to our loving native land and native people. And so we'll be spending time connecting to the native culture of the Hopi tribe that are native to the area of Sedona. Yeah, and my vision is to visit their community and do some service there, and visit the sacred sites, the healing sites in Sedona. And so just helping, that's my passion, is to bring people back to nature, to reconnect them with nature, with our native lands, native people, just bridging that connection back, because the land belonged to the Hopi people. And so I really want to bring that honoring and reverence back together, serve them. And it's so healing for us when we're able to connect to that infinite source of love in nature and in our ancestry, and then to give back as well. And so it's like creating a full circle. So that's my vision for my retreats, and I'm excited for that.
I can already foresee how beautiful it's going to be. And like when you said like earlier, limited versus unlimited supply of love, right? And and I think this is how we get to really tap into authenticity. Let's just wrap around the whole entire circle here, right?
Yes.
We feel there's unlimited supply of love is backing me up without me feeling like I'm self-sacrificing and giving away and it's running out. We feel we feel the space, we feel the opportunity for us to be even more real to ourselves, even if there's going to be risk, like you're triggering projection, everything that might happen, because we're still living in the external world, right? But literally, because when we are feeling fully charged by that unlimited supply of love, here authenticity is the truth of who you are, then you are not being afraid of that anymore, because authenticity could be something that can be also triggering to other people. Absolutely. That's the essence of who we are here.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much.
So how can people find you? That's the last question.
Oh, please find me on Instagram.
Okay.
That's my main place right now. And reach out to me if you want to connect. You can send me a message. And yes.
So awesome. So beautiful people, this is amazing. Suzanne Mikula from California, and just feel her presence and her warmth, her loving energy, and feel free to connect with her through her Instagram account, and she's going to bring some magic to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Jen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
So much
you.
love to you, Jen, and to everyone.
Love you. Bye,
Love.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.